My wife asked me for an open relationship. After her first date, I was gonna leave her. Now she says we should swing so that I'm not left out. I, Seth 27M, have been married to my wife, Madison 26F, for 2 years. We have been together for 4 years. I wouldn't say anything about our relationship had been extraordinary in the grand scheme of things. We met through a mutual friend and just clicked. We dated for like 18 months, then moved in together and got engaged. We had a typical small wedding 6 months later. For the first 2 years of our marriage, everything seemed fine. We have both been focused on our careers and are doing pretty well. We still make time for each other and go on dates often. 4 or 5 months ago, she landed a managerial position in her field at a different company. 1 week later, she asked me for an open relationship. I was completely blindsided by that. We have never talked about anything like that before. When I asked where this was coming from, she talked about some married coworker named Abigail that is in an open relationship. Madison and her have been talking about this since her 3rd day working there. She starts trying to sell me on this with all these bullet points. Bring us closer together, new experiences, take our sex life to the max, meet new people, etc., etc., etc. On initial approach, I was completely against this. I still am, yet I find myself in this stupid situation. When I first rejected it, she just accepted that and we moved on with our night. She didn't stop though, she brought it up again and again. In addition to just casual mentionings, she also began sending me stories out of our /non-monogamy and our /open marriage. These were all cherry-picked stories, and when I started exploring the subs on my own and sending back horror stories, she stopped doing this and said, we shouldn't be basing our marriage adventure on someone else. She also became super wife. Picking up my favorite snacks, doing more housework, trying to initiate sex all the time. I enjoyed that, but at the same time it's not as much fun when you know there is an ulterior motive. I've been asking her if there is someone she has in mind. She swears there is not, even getting angry the last time I asked. I don't really believe her. I know her new job has quite a few guys that work there. The company is also known for recruiting heavily out of the colleges, so it's likely a lot of guys right in our age bracket. Yet, she keeps pushing the same narrative of bringing us closer together and having new experiences. I can kind of see the latter point. I am only her second boyfriend. She was in a 6-year relationship prior to our meeting, and had only been out of it for 3 weeks when we met. I'm slightly more experienced than her. Her being my 3rd girlfriend and 6th sexual partner. 2 months ago she managed to break me. I had stayed pretty steadfast in that I was apprehensive towards doing anything like this. The whole time from the initial approach until that 2-month mark, she was really sweet and understanding, but also pushy. On this day, she went ultimatum. I said, I don't think I'll ever be ready to share you with others. She responded by saying, maybe we should take some time apart. That was like a jab in the face. Are you serious? She looked sad, and had a tear forming in one eye. Yeah, I just feel confined. I understand you don't want this, but I think I need to experience things. Maybe it isn't for us, but I want to try, and it seems you don't, so I guess we are at an impasse. I asked, you want a divorce? Am I just not enough for you anymore? She softened, never about you not being enough. I just want to be open to having experiences, meeting people, and not being bound by arbitrary rules and social norms. I don't want to divorce, I want you. I just feel like I need to explore this, and you don't want to. So maybe we should just take some time apart, not divorce, and see how we feel after a month or 2. This is where I caved, and ended up in the position I am now. I will give it a try. She immediately perked up, but can we take things slow? Can we come up with some basic rules? Madison clearly excited but trying to downplay, yes, we can just take our time, thank you, I really think this will be a good thing in the long term. She then initiated sex, which I totally went along with. A few hours ago we had dinner with a couple we are supposed to swing with. I spent most of the dinner making small talk with Kara, a very attractive 21-year-old. She is very much my type physically, but this feels so weird. Madison and Kara's boyfriend Leland, who are co-workers by the way, were flirting and talking like this is second nature. I can't help but wonder if this was Madison's plan all along. He's a good-looking guy, so am I, but this all seems too convenient. Kara and I, however, seem a lot more apprehensive. She seems sweet, but there is definitely an awkwardness between us. Madison told me this couple wanted to swing with us, because we're all new to this. I had this feeling something is up though between my wife and this other guy. When I caved and told Madison we could try an open relationship, and that I'd like to take it really slow, she took that to mean like waiting until the next day was slow enough. I figured we would really talk about rules, read some books on E&M, ethical non-monogamy, and take things one step at a time. I got up the morning after I agreed a little later than usual. Madison had gotten up quite a bit earlier than usual. She had made us both Tinder profiles. Like really had put a lot of effort into both of them. I tried to tell her this was too fast, but she countered saying, "It's just being ready for when we are ready. It could take months for either of us to match with anyone. We can take things slow, but now this part is done and we can start making matches while we figure this out." My boyfriend asked me about swinging. I don't really like the idea, but I also don't want to break up. Part A. Fiction. My name is Kara, 21F. I have been dating my boyfriend, Leland, 27M, for 3 years. We met at a party my friend was throwing during my senior year. Since then, we have been largely inseparable. He gets a little jealous sometimes, but we do really love each other. I moved in with him 8 months ago. It was a little bit of an adjustment for the both of us, but I think we are getting the hang of it. I don't work right now, since I'm in nursing school. He has a pretty good job, so I do my best to take care of the apartment. I wish he helped out a little bit, but I kind of get it since I don't contribute anything financially. Like I said, for the most part our relationship is pretty good. He spoils me. I don't have a lot of my own disposable income, so I do appreciate that he likes to take me out and buy me things. Our sex life is really good and really active. We try out a lot of new things in the bedroom. We've always role-played scenarios, and I always thought these were just fantasies of his. We've done cheating scenarios, swapping scenarios, and stuff like that. Usually I'm pretending to be someone else. Which is fine, I'm not upset about that. The thing that hurt my feelings recently is that he said he missed dating sometimes. I know it's valid to feel that way. I have had a few moments over the last couple years where I wish I could just do some of the crazy things my friends do, but I don't because that's not what you do in a relationship. You got to prioritize your boyfriend, or girlfriend, and sometimes that means missing out on things. I tried to see where he was coming from and we didn't really talk about it, so I thought maybe it was just him being a little oblivious. That was until he started to talk about how he has these 2 coworkers that are in open relationships. I've met the one he has worked with for like 4 years. She, Abigail, is like mid-30s and married. When he brought her up the first time, it was just months into us dating, and we talked about it like we were gossiping. Abigail does not hide the fact, and Leland has heard other people ask her questions about it, and she just answers them like she was talking about anything else. Leland hasn't brought her up very much at all, and usually if he does it goes like, "You know what, Abigail had some guy, that was definitely not her husband, drop her off at the office today, and I totally saw her give him like the biggest kiss before she came in. Isn't that crazy? Could you even imagine?" I mean, he says stuff like that, like he's gossiping. So I never really thought he was that into that. Then he met his new coworker, Madison, 26F. She is also apparently in an open relationship. Leland talks about her a lot. The thing that has scared me is, when he talks about her, he says it like he's impressed. He talks about her like he has a crush on her and like he envies her lifestyle. It makes me feel kinda insecure sometimes. Then today happened. It was just a usual Saturday. We were having some sandwiches and chips for lunch, when he just asked me what my opinion of swinging was. I just went blank for a few moments. I finally said, "I don't know, I've never really thought about it." Leland came back with, well, let's talk about it. I mean, you have to think about other guys sometimes, right? I said, sure, but not like real people. Like Ryan Gosling, not Ethan from Class. Do you fantasize about people you know? He replied, no, not really, I mean, I guess sometimes, but it doesn't mean anything. I guess I'm just saying, we're young. Now is kind of the time to do something like this, you know, have some fun before we settle down. I see how happy Abigail and Madison are, and think, maybe, we would enjoy it too. Madison, there it is. I got a little mad, so this is about Madison. He came back, she just makes a lot of good points. She says her and her husband are in an open relationship and that it has made them really close. They talk about everything now, and it makes the intimacy amazing. I was getting more annoyed, honestly. That seems like really personal information to know about someone you've only known for 4 months. What are you sharing with her? He got defensive. Nothing, I talked about how great our relationship is, and she told me about hers, that's it. Then she said we should give it a try, it'll make things even better. I don't know why you are getting so defensive. I just asked a question. You always say I should be open about my thoughts and feelings. I backed off a little. I do say that. I want him to feel like he can be safe around me. I watch all these TikToks about toxic behaviors in relationships. I'm not going to be the kind of girlfriend my boyfriend can't talk to about anything. I told him, okay, that's fair, we can talk about it some more, I just need a break right now, can we talk later tonight? He agreed, then we hugged, and each went to do our own thing. That was a few hours ago, and I don't really know what to do or say. I guess I will just listen, I don't know where this is coming from. I am half expecting that he will say that Madison and her husband want to swing with us. I surprised my girlfriend with Taylor Swift tickets, she wanted to bring her friend instead. Me and my girlfriend, both 26, have been dating for 3 years now. My girlfriend is a huge Taylor Swift fan and was really excited when she found out Taylor would be performing at MetLife Stadium, right near us. I decided to surprise her with Taylor Swift concert tickets, since I knew she really wanted to go. I called in sick the day the tickets dropped and waited in the Ticketmaster queue for 2 hours. Finally, when it opened up, I bought 2 seats, for $400 each, presumably one for her, and another for me. When she came back from work that night, I surprised her with the tickets, and she was ecstatic. However, when I claimed I was excited to go with her, she got very confused and claimed she thought the 2 tickets were for her and her best friend, who is also a big Taylor Swift fan. I was very disappointed since I believed that this was an experience we could do together and it would be something we would remember for the rest of our lives. My girlfriend could tell I was upset and said she would be happy to go with me instead. I told her she should go with whoever she wanted to go with more, and to not go with me just because it was what I had planned. After hearing this, my girlfriend immediately called her friend and told her that they were going to the Taylor Swift concert together. Ouch. I told my girlfriend that if her friend wanted to go with her, she had to pay the $400 for the ticket, and her friend agreed to. While my girlfriend and her friend went together and both had a great time, I felt betrayed since she chose her over me. While I know my girlfriend's BFF is a much bigger Taylor Swift fan than me, I was still excited to go since I've never been to a concert before, and I like to listen to some of Taylor Swift's songs. Like I said before, I also believed this would be a memory we could both remember together. Should I have done things differently and not given up my tickets so willingly? Hey Reddit, I'm reaching out because I'm in a tough spot and could really use some advice. I'm a 31-year-old guy, and my wife is 27. We've been together for 9 years and married for 3. We have a 19-month-old daughter, and my wife just found out she's pregnant again, only 2 weeks along. Here's the thing, over the last 4 days, my wife has been saying some really hurtful things. She started off joking about how she doesn't like me anymore and doesn't even want to look at me. At first, I thought it was just a joke, but then it escalated. She began playfully hitting me and smiling, but I wasn't in the mood for jokes. I've been stressed out lately, trying to make ends meet. I earn $3,000 a month, and we live on $2,900, which leaves us with no savings. My wife quit her job to start a restaurant, but it's not doing well right now. I supported her decision, helping with renovations and everything, but financially, we're struggling. With a new baby on the way and our daughter needing daycare, I estimate we'll need at least $8,000 more in the next 4 months. The other day, she wanted sushi, but I only had $10 left until payday. I told her we could go, but I couldn't eat with her. She got upset and said she didn't want to be around me. I tried to talk to her about it multiple times, but it just led to more frustration. Eventually, she came to me, "I'm going to eat sushi, but I don't want your face with me, so give the car keys." I snapped and told her to go fuck off alone, which made her cry. For the past few days, she hasn't spoken to me. Had the same argument for some other fish type, but this time she told me, "Are you going to take me eat fish or I have to ask my brother?" Earlier, she sent me reels about how a man can break a woman's heart and lose her forever and mentioned divorce. She said I'm not the man she thought I was anymore because her friend, female, has been taking her out and treating her better. I feel like I've always done my best for her and our family, whether it's borrowing money for outings or helping with our daughter. I took a loan for 7 years just to buy her clothes. I don't want to paint her as the villain here, she's a great mom and has been a good wife. But when she gets upset, her words can be really hurtful, and I've been trying to let things slide to keep the peace. Now I'm left wondering if I should apologize to save our marriage or if it's time to let her go. What really scares me is the thought of losing my kids. In my country, mothers usually get custody, and the only way for a father to get it is if the mother remarries or moves abroad. I'm lost and don't know what to do. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. My marriage is falling apart and I don't know what to do. Final part. First off, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who took the time to comment on my last post. Your words, whether they were blunt, supportive, or filled with tough love, were invaluable. Thank you for helping me navigate through one of the most challenging moments in my life. Let me take you through the timeline so we can all stay on the same page. It all started with a heated argument with my wife. Frustrated and overwhelmed, I stepped outside for some fresh air, but 5 hours later, I still wasn't ready to go back in. When I finally returned home at 5 a.m., I felt compelled to share my turmoil with you all. After posting, I crashed into bed, only to wake up to a flood of comments waiting for me. As I sifted through your insights, it hit me, I'm the man in this relationship, and it's time to make a choice. For the sake of our 9 years together and our kids, I decided to give our marriage another shot. I realized my wife had waited for me those 5 hours, only to fall asleep on the couch. When I asked her to join me in bed, she hesitated but eventually came over after 20 minutes of silence. The next morning, I approached her with an apology, but she shot me down, insisting that nothing could change the outcome of our argument. I pushed back, explaining that I shouldn't have been rude to my pregnant wife, even if I was wrestling with my own demons. We dove into an intense discussion about our financial struggles. I emphasized that money was the foundation of our lives. Without it, we'd have nothing. In a moment of clarity, I revealed a new Excel file I'd created to track our spending. As I showed her the numbers, she fell silent, and from that silence, we began brainstorming solutions together. Then, something incredible happened. She got up, made me breakfast, and suggested we create a budget together. We agreed to give it a trial run for 2 months. If it worked, great, if not, she'd let me take the reins again. I couldn't believe the shift in our dynamic. We spent the rest of the day doing chores, sharing laughs, and ending on a positive note. But here's the kicker, she never apologized for the hurtful things she said. I did suggest therapy for her, as I'm already in it, but she brushed it off, claiming she didn't need it and that she was perfect. Yeah, right. So here I am, feeling cautiously optimistic. Your support has helped me, my marriage, and our kids in ways I can't fully express. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I'll carry your wisdom with me as I continue this journey. Until we meet again in another life. P.S. I mistakenly wrote that we'd been together for 12 years, but after some quick math, I realized it's only been 9. Just wanted to clear that up. First off, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who took the time to comment on my last post. Your words, whether they were blunt, supportive, or filled with tough love, were invaluable. Thank you for helping me navigate through one of the most challenging moments in my life. Let me take you through the timeline so we can all stay on the same page. It all started with a heated argument with my wife. Frustrated and overwhelmed, I stepped outside for some fresh air, but 5 hours later, I still wasn't ready to go back in. When I finally returned home at 5 a.m., I felt compelled to share my turmoil with you all. After posting, I crashed into bed, only to wake up to a flood of comments waiting for me. As I sifted through your insights, it hit me, I'm the man in this relationship, and it's time to make a choice. For the sake of our 9 years together and our kids, I decided to give our marriage another shot. I realized my wife had waited for me those 5 hours, only to fall asleep on the couch. When I asked her to join me in bed, she hesitated but eventually came over after 20 minutes of silence. The next morning, I approached her with an apology, but she shot me down, insisting that nothing could change the outcome of our argument. I pushed back, explaining that I shouldn't have been rude to my pregnant wife, even if I was wrestling with my own demons. We dove into an intense discussion about our financial struggles. I emphasized that money was the foundation of our lives, without it, we'd have nothing. In a moment of clarity, I revealed a new Excel file I'd created to track our spending. As I showed her the numbers, she fell silent, and from that silence, we began brainstorming solutions together. Then, something incredible happened. She got up, made me breakfast, and suggested we create a budget together. We agreed to give it a trial run for 2 months. If it worked, great, if not, she'd let me take the reins again. I couldn't believe the shift in our dynamic. We spent the rest of the day doing chores, sharing laughs, and ending on a positive note. But here's the kicker, she never apologized for the hurtful things she said. I did suggest therapy for her, as I'm already in it, but she brushed it off, claiming she didn't need it and that she was perfect. Yeah, right. So here I am, feeling cautiously optimistic. Your support has helped me, my marriage, and our kids in ways I can't fully express. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I'll carry your wisdom with me as I continue this journey. Until we meet again in another life. P.S. I mistakenly wrote that we've been together for 12 years, but after some quick math, I realized it's only been 9. Just wanted to clear that up.